Long before the first maps were drawn, before modern nations even existed, a powerful force was already connecting the world. It wasn't armies or empires, but something much simpler: trade. Spices, gold, silk, salt. These weren't just goods. They were messengers, carrying ideas and ambitions across continents, building kingdoms, and fundamentally changing the course of human history. We often think of trade in terms of markets and money, but behind the familiar stories of bustling ports and camel caravans lies a deeper, more complex truth, one that is rarely told. This is the history of international trade, the untold story. Let's rewind thousands of years to a time when ancient civilizations were just beginning to reach beyond their borders. In Africa, merchants journeyed across vast deserts, trading precious gold for essential salt. In Asia, the secret of silk traveled thousands of miles, becoming a symbol of unimaginable luxury. And in the Middle East, a crossroads of continents, traders connected the East and the West, creating a vibrant hub of exchange. This early trade was about more than just profit. It was a form of diplomacy, a way for different peoples to interact and learn from one another. It built great cities, fostered innovation, and showed that cooperation, not conquest, could be the glue that held the world together. Before empires rose to dominate, it was the humble trader who first wove the threads of our global community. The world was not conquered into connection, it was traded into it. Imagine a network of pathways, stretching like arteries across the globe, carrying the lifeblood of civilization. This was the reality of the great trade routes. The legendary Silk Road, a ribbon of trails stretching from China to the heart of Europe, wasn't just for silk. It carried paper, gunpowder, and philosophies that would reshape the West. Further south, the trans-Saharan routes were highways of gold, ivory, and knowledge, linking the vibrant kingdoms of West Africa with the Mediterranean world. And across the vast Indian Ocean, monsoon winds powered dhows and junks, creating a maritime network that connected Africa, Arabia, India, and Southeast Asia. These routes were more than just commercial highways. They were conduits of culture. Buddhism traveled from India to China along these paths. Islamic science and mathematics spread from the Middle East to Africa and Europe. New technologies, new foods, new ways of thinking all flowed freely alongside the caravans and cargo ships. These networks didn't just move goods. They moved humanity forward, weaving a rich, diverse tapestry of shared knowledge and experience that built the foundations of the modern world. But as the world grew more connected, the nature of trade began to change. The immense wealth generated by these routes attracted new players with a different mindset. As demand for foreign luxuries exploded in Europe, a shift occurred. The spirit of mutual exchange began to fade, replaced by a ruthless hunger for competition and control. European powers, armed with new maritime technology and a desire for dominance, no longer wanted to simply participate in the existing trade networks, they wanted to own them. They didn't see partners, they saw rivals to be eliminated. Powerful trading companies were formed, but these were no ordinary businesses. They were corporate giants with their own armies, their own navies, and the political backing of their home nations. They could wage war, sign treaties, and establish colonies. Trade was no longer a conversation between equals. It had transformed into a tool of power, a brutal game of exploitation where the winner took all. This pivotal, dark transformation from exchange to extraction laid the groundwork for the age of imperialism, fundamentally and violently reshaping the world order. The shift from trade to control had devastating consequences that rippled across the globe for centuries. As European powers established colonies, they systematically dismantled local economies and imposed a new, deeply unequal system. Colonized regions were no longer free to produce and trade as they wished. Instead, their economies were re-engineered for a single purpose: to serve the mother country. They were forced to focus on extracting raw materials: cotton from India, rubber from the Congo, sugar from the Caribbean, which were shipped back to Europe. There, these materials were turned into finished goods in burgeoning factories. And who were the primary customers for these manufactured products? The very same colonies, which were often forbidden from producing their own. Local industries that had thrived for generations collapsed. Weavers, potters, and metalworkers found themselves unable to compete. Wealth, which once circulated within these regions, now flowed in a single direction outward, into the coffers of the colonial powers. This system didn't just create poverty, it created a structure of global inequality, a hierarchy of nations that, in many ways, persists to this very day. Everything about our modern world, from the coffee you drink in the morning to the smartphone in your pocket, is a product of this long, complicated history. The global economy we live in today wasn't designed overnight. It was shaped by centuries of decisions, conflicts, and power play centered on trade. The world's major shipping lanes often follow the same maritime routes pioneered by ancient traders and later seized by colonial empires. The trade agreements that govern how goods move between countries are negotiated between nations whose economic power can often be traced back to their historical roles in the system. The persistent wealth gap between the global north and the global south isn't an accident. It's a direct legacy of a system that was designed to be unequal. Understanding the true history of international trade isn't just an academic exercise. It's about understanding the very architecture of our world, why some nations are wealthy while others struggle, and how the past continues to shape our present and our future. This is the side of trade history they rarely teach in school, the story of cooperation turned to control, and exchange turned to exploitation. It's a history that helps explain the world we see around us today. If this untold story matters to you, and if you want to explore more hidden histories that have shaped our world, make sure to subscribe and like this video. It helps us bring more of these important narratives to light. What are your thoughts on this? Share them in the comments below. Thanks for watching.